The carnivore diet, we've seen it all over the internet. We see people like the Liver King having mental breakdowns. Then you see all these carnivores saying they're losing a bunch of weight. It's the dream diet, everyone should do it. So let's break it down using research, science, and the pros and cons of everything about it, and how to implement it as a coach that's worked with thousands of clients, and how I'd use it personally. I'm Obi Health, I'm an online fitness coach that's worked with thousands of clients achieve their fitness goals through sustainable ways that'll make you lose 5 pounds and then gain 5 pounds and just go through that cycle over and over and over again and get no real results. Let's get right into it. What is the carnivore diet? It's in the name. All you can eat is meat, seafood, eggs, animal fat, and sometimes, depending the influencer you speak to, you can have dairy products. Just think of it as the opposite of veganism. No fruits, no vegetables, no legumes, no nuts, no seeds, no processed carbs. No carbs at all, basically. So they try to have no carbs whatsoever, no sugar. This diet mainly comes from fats and a moderate protein diet. This is so they can avoid energy crashes. That's what they claim. You're only supposed to eat when you're hungry, so usually 1 to 2 meals a day. Eliminate all additives. You can drink water and electrolytes. Sometimes some say coffee's okay, some say not. So it really depends on the influencer. And why are people doing this diet? And why did it get popular? They want to reduce inflammation. Or if you have an autoimmune disease, similar to me, like eczema, it's supposed to reverse it. I literally have eczema. You can see it on my face a lot of the time. I have it on my skin right here. You can see it right now. I have it on my knee. And it's an elimination diet where you can slowly add foods back in after doing carnivore, and you can really pinpoint the food that causes these flare-ups or any issues. So if you have a gut health issue, you can really pinpoint that food that makes you flame up. A lot of them say it's for fat loss and blood sugar regulation. And it's very just simple. You don't have that many decisions to make around food. You just eat meat. So let's go into the cons before we go into the pros, because that's what everyone cares about. So it's very hard to get your vitamin C on this diet. Very, very hard. They say, oh, you can get vitamin C, all these things. It's actually more bioavailable because you don't have carbs blocking it. You have to eat organs. No meat has vitamin C besides organs, so heart, liver, and things like that. And it kind of defeats the purpose of the diet. If you're not tracking and you're not paying attention to these things, what if I don't want to eat liver? What if I don't want to eat organs? Then am I just deficient in vitamin C and go get scurvy? A thing that pirates used to get? Something that we never get anymore. I just don't understand it, because the whole ideology is like, oh, eat when you're hungry, but you still have to pay attention and eat these little things or else you're gonna be deficient in these macronutrients. It doesn't make sense. If this diet was perfect, why do you have to eat these foods that are repulsive? Have you ever had liver? Have you ever had heart? Next up, there's no fiber. I'm not kidding when I say this. These influencers will make you fearful of fiber. I'm not exaggerating it, because they can't get it in the diet. Any elimination diet or any fad diet, they do this. Fruitarians, they make you fear protein because fruit does not have that much protein. So they say protein's bad, it does all these things. If you talk to a vegan, for example, they say meat is really bad. Then if you talk to a carnivore, you can't get fiber, so they say fiber is horrific for you. It's all these bad things that happen when you have your fiber. Every diet does it, so don't fall for that trap, because fear mongering is so easy to do because people accept fear before they actually accept fact and research. Fear sells, fear gets views. Why do you think I start with cons before I start with pros? It's just better for engagement.
People don't realize this, but fiber is an anti-nutrient. It actually blocks out the absorption of many nutrients. It actually stops you from absorbing things. And people say, oh, that's a good thing. You'll absorb less of the stuff that you eat. Oh, that's great, because we don't want to absorb all these things we eat. Why do you eat it? Right? We eat things in order to gain nutrients and so we can absorb them. Yeah, if you're eating high octane garbage, then yeah, sure, reducing the amount that you absorb is probably a good idea, but you're still absorbing some, and probably just a better idea just not to eat it at all.
Side effects of having no fiber. Backed by research, colon cancer is the #1 preventive cancer killing men under the age of 50, and the #2 for women. Colon cancer. You know how you get rid of colon cancer or you prevent it? Fiber intake. Studies show fiber is a very good protective thing for your gut. Fiber acts like a broom in your colon, cleaning it out constantly, making you regular, go to the bathroom, feeds protective bacteria, because your gut microbiome is this complex thing of good bacteria, bad bacteria, and that's why no one has the same gut microbiome. It's like your DNA strand. For me, for example, my exact gut microbiome, you could feel disgusting or you could feel amazing. Everyone's is different, but fiber is a very good thing. It also lowers inflammation in the colon. Every 10 grams of fiber decreases all-cause mortality by 10%. So not only does these things, improves your gut health, all those health benefits, here are some more health benefits of fiber. Having fiber lowers the risk of colon cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer by binding toxins and reducing inflammation. It helps you in the bathroom, different types of fiber. There's 4 different fibers. Insoluble fiber makes your stool thicker or stronger. Soluble fiber makes it looser. Make sure you drink your water when you have your fiber intake. I can make a whole video about fiber. It's unbelievable for your health. And I think it's pretty funny. There's a trend going on right now on TikTok, specifically on girl TikTok. I've noticed a lot of the female creators, they're eating a dragon fruit and they're acting like it's a laxative. And I think this is showing a lot of things. A dragon fruit only has 5 grams of fiber. That's crazy. So 5 grams of fiber is acting as a laxative in your body. That really shows how poor your gut health is and how irregular you are. You should be going to the bathroom 1 to 3 times a day, or once every 3 days, but that's very extreme. If you're only going to the bathroom once a week, that's extremely unhealthy. Also, healthy gut, good for your skin. Your gut health is a direct reflection of how your skin is. If you have acne, this can prevent it. It also slows the absorption of carbs, so it actually regulates your blood sugar control substantially better. And it keeps your energy level stable. It's funny, people that do the carnivore diet are like, oh, testosterone maxing, I'm getting all my testosterone I could possibly get. Oh, I'm being such a masculine man. Hardy hard. Fiber actually reduces estrogen in men and in women, especially in women. It helps remove the excess estrogen. Fiber also lowers your LDL, the bad cholesterol, a thing that carnivores tend to have a lot of because they have way too many fats. I'm not saying fats are the enemy or anything like that, but overconsumption of anything is bad. You can literally die from having too much water. Dosage makes the poison, and I'm not saying all fats are bad, but it's all relative. If you're having more grams of fat than grams of protein, that's a bad thing. Newer research actually is showing that you should have 50 grams of fiber if you're a male and 40 grams of fiber if you're a female, because it builds this gut line that prevents so many diseases and things like that, increasing your life expectancy. Also, that inner gut lining, like I was saying with that 40 to 50 grams of fiber, it can prevent leaky gut syndrome, inflammation, and autoimmune risk. And you might be saying, oh, I feel fine on carnivore right now. Short term, I feel great. I'm losing so much weight. I'm talking long-term health side effects that you could be not living a long life. You're gonna burn like a little torch. Burn real hot, and that flame's gonna go out real quick. Another con, you're not getting any carbs. And before I get the carnivores in my comment section or anyone reacting to my video, carbs are not essential for the body. Good job. Our body likes carbs so much, loves it so damn much, that it turns protein and fats into carbs when they're not available in the body. That's how much we like carbs. And the thing is, when they convert from protein and fats, it's not as bioavailable and not as efficient. So just eat the damn carbs. And it's not essential. It's not essential to walk. It's not essential to go to the gym. It's not essential to talk. It's not essential to have 2 kidneys. It's not essential to use AC. The list goes on things that are not essential that we do on a day-to-day because boy, oh boy, is it beneficial. Feels real good to be in AC. It's more optimal for the health. You know, when you're working out, there's no reason to wear a lifting belt. It's not necessary, but boy, oh boy, does it help. Lifting straps not needed when you're deadlifting, but boy, oh boy, can you deadlift more. Every world record is done with straps. Hafthor Bjornsson deadlifted 500 kilograms with straps. Eddie Hall deadlifted 500 kilograms with straps. They couldn't do that without straps, but it wasn't essential, but they used it. It's so weird. It's almost like carbs do the same thing to the body. It's not essential, but boy, oh boy, the benefit's so crazy. Carbs are the preferred source of fuel for ATP production. Carbs are broken down into glucose, which is stored as muscle glycogen. And then glycogen is our preferred or the source of energy we use in high intensity training. So if we're lifting, we're sprinting, anything like that, we use carbs. It depends on your heart rate. So if your heart rate's elevated, you're using carbs as your source. If your heart rate's lower, we're using fat as our sources. When you're doing high intense things like lifting, your heart rate elevates through high intensity. So it actually is the preferred source of energy. If you don't have carbs, what are you gonna do? And then glucose also produces ATP faster than fats. And that ATP production is used in every single muscle contraction. High carb bioavailability increases output in the gym, reps to failure, explosiveness, total volume lifted, and lower glycogen is lower motor recruitment. Motor recruitment is needed for muscle growth. So in turn, less strength, less endurance. Not only that, carbs reduce fatigue mentally and physically. So when you're on a low carb diet, your perceived effort is actually much higher. So what you think you're doing. So when people are working out, what causes growth is those last 5 failure reps, intensity in the gym. It's not volume, it's not reps, it's your reps to failure. And there's no actual feeling in the body that shows muscle growth. So a lot of people think they're training a failure when they're doing extremely high reps because it burns so hard. So your perceived effort is substantially higher than your actual failure. Your perceived effort is high, but the actual effort's low. And when you're doing a low carb diet, that perceived effort even is higher. So you're not actually training a failure. Carbs also spare muscle breakdown by decreasing cortisol and CNS. The brain also runs on glucose, which is critical for focus, coordination, and training. Don't worry, I'm showing all my research when I'm saying these statements as well. Not only that, you know those insulin spikes people really make you fear? They're really not that bad. Do you guys know bodybuilders run insulin? They inject insulin in their body because it's so anabolic. I'm not saying you should do this. It's the most dangerous thing you can possibly do. It's the number one reason why bodybuilders die. It's because they run insulin. It's not the extra performance things they run. It's the insulin. It's the most dangerous thing you can possibly run, but it's so anabolic because when your glucose spikes or your blood sugar spikes, your carbs go directly into your muscle, which lowers muscle breakdown and increases nutrition delivery. Another massive side effect no one talks about, iron overload. When you're only eating red meat on this diet, or you're not only eating red meat, but primarily you eat a lot of red meat, especially these carnivores because they feel real masculine on it. Nothing against you, Joe Rogan, love your podcast, but he's a great example. He only eats red meat. If you're cooking in a cast iron pan, boy, oh boy, are you screwed. Because when you cook in a cast iron pan, you absorb the iron. So it's a double whammy. And too much iron is very toxic for the body, and I'll explain why. Iron acts like rust inside our body. We need iron. If you ever feel lightheaded, you could be deficient in magnesium, you could be deficient in iron, things like that. But don't do it too heavy, especially when you get in the 300, 400, 500% of your daily dose, which all these carnivores are, especially with the cast iron pan, they're getting like the 600, 700%. It's damaging your cells, and it accelerates your aging, inflammation, and tissue damage. It can cause liver failure, liver cancer. Your pancreas can actually make you type 2 diabetic. It's really ironic. You never have any carbs in this diet, but you can actually become diabetic. Crazy, insane. You can have irregular heartbeats. I mean, look at Paul Saladino. He literally said, I had irregular heartbeats. That's why he stopped doing the carnivore diet. The man that started the carnivore diet, or at least popularized it. He made a book and made millions. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, actually, I'm not carnivore anymore. I had heart palpitations. I had lower testosterone. I couldn't sleep at night. I was very irregular. My heartbeat was horrible, all these things. But yeah, no, buy my book. I made millions, but I actually just changed everything about my whole personality. It also increases your risk of Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, arthritis, joint pains, lower testosterone, infertility, thyroid dysfunction, or insanely high testosterone, which I'll talk about later. You can also get bronze diabetes, which I'll also talk about later. These are just kind of table of contents of everything I'm about to go through in massive depth. Your immune system is substantially weaker, especially overconsumption of iron. You're not getting any vitamin C. It's a recipe just for horrible health. So like I said earlier, your testosterone could be insanely high. A lot of influencers are like, oh, I'm 1400 points per deciliter. Look at my testosterone, it's out of range. I'm so freaking masculine, I'm so manly man. Show your free test. Show your liver enzymes. Show those numbers. Because your free test is probably not good because your testosterone is all binded up. Free test is the thing that's actually causing muscle growth, not the total testosterone. And your liver plays a massive role in your metabolic rate. And iron overload, like I said, causes a lot of stress on that liver. And it's not getting broken down properly. So your testosterone, your total, is skyrocketing because it's a foreign substance. Your SHBG often increases with iron overload because the liver produces that, which again is getting binded up, which makes it inactive. So it's still, again, total T doesn't really matter. Free test is what causes the energy, the sex drive, the muscle growth, the manly man things. You can just read all this right here as well. I just kind of repeated this. And this is what it looks like when you have bronze diabetes. Look at his skin. Do you want to look like that? You're getting that real good tan. Yeah. You look like an orange. You look like Oompa Loompa. So if you ever get your blood work and you're a carnivore, watch this and you're freaking your crap, look at your blood work. Get your blood work done, especially if you're doing the carnivore diet. Definitely get your blood work done. Your SHBG could be insanely high as well. Your free test, ironically, is probably normal or even low. And then just here's the rest. So just pause the video right here, screenshot it, talk to your doctor. If you have any of these things, you should probably lower your red meat consumption and maybe not do the carnivore diet. Last con, I promise, it's bad. When you get a cut, you're actually not gonna have blood coagulation or not as efficient because of that overconsumption of iron on the carnivore diet. So the list it just goes on and on. The body doesn't need this. The body does not need this. There's even more side effects, but the video will literally be an hour long. So now we're just going to the pros. I know you guys think I'm heavily biased, but I just care about your guys' health. On the pros, you will lose a crap load of weight. Genuinely, because you have no carbs, you'll flush all that glycogen out of the muscle. All the benefits you heard of the carbs, yeah, they're flushing out of the muscle. Your muscle right here is a lot of carbs and water. It looks amazing because it's intramuscular. It goes inside the muscle. Bodybuilders have an egregious amount of carbs. They have around 1,000 grams of carbs before they hop on stage to look pumped up and veiny. Your veins get popping, your muscles look popping. It's amazing. When you have no carbs, that water just flushes. So you're losing a bunch of water weight. And theoretically, I'm not kidding, you could lose a bunch of scale weight and still gain a lot of fat because you're gonna be in a caloric surplus, but you're lowering that glycogen, which in turn will make the scale go down drastically, but you're in a caloric surplus, you're actually putting fat in the body, just losing water. So you're actually looking worse. You're looking flatter, not as popping, and you're putting fat on the body. This is a really rare situation, which I highly doubt a lot of people have, but it is a possibility. But you do lose a bunch of weight. And realistically, you're probably gonna be in a calorie deficit because you only can eat meat. It's really hard to overconsume meat. It's a really satiating food, and you'll have flavor fatigue just because who eats 3,000 calories worth of steak? No one. That's a psycho. And on this, like I said, you don't have to track your calories. You really don't, because you're not gonna overeat on fat. You're not gonna overeat on these meats. It's very hard to overeat on meat. And you get to eat whenever you're hungry, and you'll be really full in this diet most likely. Genuinely, like I've done this diet. You're gonna feel really full. You're also gonna look really dry because again, you're gonna have no water retention whatsoever because you have no carbs in your system. So you're gonna look really dry. But you're gonna look really flat and skinny, but you're gonna look dry. So your muscles gonna be defined, but not like pop. Also, if you have an autoimmune disease, when I did this, I'm not gonna lie, my eczema did deter quite a bit. Paul Saladino is also popular for saying it cured his eczema. So I do completely agree. You can find the food and pinpoint the food that is causing flare-ups of any kind. If you have an autoimmune disease, if you have any issues, even if you don't have a disease or anything. Some foods just cause people to flare up, even if you're not, I don't know, lactose intolerant. Dairy could still mess you up, and you can really pinpoint those exact items, which is great. And they can just slowly add foods that are good for your body. Also, out of all the fad diets, this is the highest protein fad diet. Like keto, I haven't reviewed keto yet, but it's not high protein, so it's not conducive for muscle growth. This diet, basically pure protein. It's amazing for that muscle growth. There's a lot of benefits to muscle. And it's a very simple diet. It's not confusing at all. It's really direct. Anyone can do it. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. It's real simple. A caveman can do it. And you would lose a bunch of fat. Like I said, really hard to get fat in this diet. And as a coach, how would I implement this? How I did already in the past. I would do it for 30 days so I could flush a bunch of water and lose a bunch of weight right away, because you can probably do a very severe calorie deficit and feel relatively full because you're eating the most satiating foods. The only thing is fiber makes you feel extremely full and you're not getting any fiber in this diet. So I would just add fiber because I don't miss my fiber. I have 50 to 100 grams of fiber every single day because I want to live long and be healthy. But if you want, you can do this diet for 20, 30 days, see those things, flush a bunch of water out of your system, kind of just get a jump start on your fat loss journey, and then just slowly add foods that you like and see if they cause any issues. And you can really pinpoint those issues. But overall, would not recommend this diet at all. And I think this fad is gonna fade away in the next 5 years because all the health side effects. I mean, look at Paul Saladino alone. The guy that popularized the diet is already stopping the diet and he does the animal-based diet. Don't worry, I'm gonna review the animal-based diet, the keto diet, the Atkins diet, a bunch of diets. So if you like this series, please like, comment down below, and subscribe. And if you want to work with my one-on-one coaching, apply down below. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So if you want to hit your fitness goal, let's start working together.